After you submit your college applications, and sometimes even before, you are probably going to need to prepare for at least a handful of interviews. For most elite or selective colleges in the USA, there will be some sort of interview system, and most often this will be an alumni interview. These universities are often dealing with tens of thousands of applications for a very limited number of seats, and so if they are offering the interview to a lot of those applicants, they need to spread out that workload, and the alumni talent pool provides a great resource for them to do that. We are going to be in this video giving some tips on how to make that conversation with the alumnus feel natural and feel like a conversation, establish rapport with them, make sure that it's something that is comfortable and organic. This is going to help you to leave the right impression as someone who can be compelling one-on-one, who can present themselves well, but also just be accessible and a real person and feel authentic. It's worth noting a couple of mistakes that are common for students to make when they get to the end of the interview and the interviewer is saying, "Do you have any questions for me?" One question that students sort of try to make cute and ask in a funny way, but it never works: "Do you think I can get into your college?" Or, "How could I get into your college?" These questions, while yes, they might seem mildly ironic and kind of funny, they're really inappropriate for the conversation. Your goal is to learn about the college experience, not to get some sort of tips on gaming the system. And you don't want to come across as the type of person who would want to do that. The second mistake that students can make is focusing on the prestige of the person across from them, asking them about their job in a way that's more about how much money they're making, or the car that they drive, or the neighborhood they live in, or these other status symbols that are attached to this idea that they went to an elite institution as an undergrad. This is going to make an interviewer feel like you don't really care about them as an individual, like they're just some sort of representation of the stepping stone that you see this college being in your life, and that you're kind of ruled by ambition or by these other objectives that don't have to do with interpersonal connection. Hopefully, you can avoid those two mistakes and turn the conversation instead to something that's going to provoke a further response and going to enable you to ask follow-up questions to whatever they say. The best questions are always going to be a natural byproduct of the conversation to that point. Most interviewers are going to drop some hints about what they care about in their lives. And they've also signed up to do this interview with you. And that means that 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be just cold and dismissive if you ask them questions about their lives. Every once in a while, you will get one of these sort of stone-faced interviewers, and there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to do your best. But assuming that they're receptive, that they're giving you some tidbits of information on their life, you definitely want to be making these mental notes, just tracking a little bit, they're interested in these things, or they have these opinions and these beliefs, so that you can use those to really direct your questions at your interviewer themselves. That said, one of the areas that students often find comfortable for prolonging the conversation and making it meaningful and substantial is asking about favorite memories that the interviewer has in regards to the college. This could be a favorite class, a favorite professor, a favorite study spot, a favorite restaurant on campus or off campus, a favorite place to go to party or socialize. And these are all questions that are totally viable. They're likely to make the interviewer nostalgic, which is great. The second area is anything topical related either to the college, news, media coverage, events, changes in the college, or related to social issues, societal issues, politics, etc. Now, again, this is something that you'd hopefully want to pick up some undercurrents earlier in the interview, understand in which way this person leans or whether they care about this issue. But if you think that there's something pressing in the world that matters to you, or some change that's going on, and you want to ask them about their opinion on it, that's a really great potential trove of a further dialogue and being able to exchange opinions and almost even perhaps have a debate. I think that that's a really wonderful way to showcase the fact that you are able to agree or disagree in a polite, respectful, and meaningful way. Another area that you can ask questions for sure is in the trajectory from that person's college experience to where they are now. Ask them about the interim, how the network of that college or the friends from the college or the skills they learned at that college have influenced their career path, their decisions, whether they find that very fulfilling, what they're grateful for in regards to, sort of takeaways that they didn't realize they had when they were on campus, but have then since added value to their lives ever since then and enriched their lives. And finally, the last big area that I always recommend students consider when going into an interview is where could you ask for sort of mentorship feedback or advice on your own activities and passions and interests. Writing that you've done, or a particular question you want to answer, a problem that you want to solve. Anything that's driving your intellectual curiosity, your creativity. And you've already discussed that hopefully earlier in the interview. Ask them what they think, what advice they might give you for how you could evolve that pursuit, that passion further, what you could do next with it. Do they know anyone who has done something similar to this? Could they give you any wisdom, essentially, any insights that are going to help you to improve? The great thing about taking this angle on the conversation is that you demonstrate that this person is someone who you respect, admire, maybe they are even an inspiration for you, and who you really want to learn from, who you're receptive to. It allows them to see really clearly that you have this growth mindset. You're going to be working on yourself. You don't see yourself as kind of this complete and finished person. You have a sense that there's always going to be another challenge, another opportunity in front of you, and you're going to want to capitalize on that in the right way. So this is a wonderful impression to leave the interview with. And here are some different ways that you can ensure that this college interviewer comes away from the conversation saying, you know what, I'm going to write a glowing review for the admissions committee. In that way, you are bolstering your application that much more and ensuring that you don't have that red flag of an interview that doesn't match the strength of the rest of your profile.